Things of that nature, things of that nature, and you owe it to yourself. Oh.
What up, what up, everybody? It's the Doc Madness. We're on the session live. Yes, we are starting to do more of these. We got some good things that we're going to be bringing to you tonight. Definitely want more people to be tapping in. We got to wait for my co-host D and then also my other co-host, TonyAfx. I know they're getting some things situated before they jump on. So I just wanted to go ahead and get it started and not keep anybody waiting because we are going to start doing the sessions live, 9 p.m. Sunday evenings to get started and just bring you the latest, greatest updates that we can have and find in our experiences through the music industry as an independent artist, label, production company, and then all the likes of everything that's going on in the industry. So anyway, before we get started, as always, we want you to hit the like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and then also hit the notification bells because we do have a lot more sessions, or should I say segments, that are going live for you to tap into. So definitely want you to know when we're going to go live, so that way you get the information, and then that way, what can happen is you guys get all of that. Guess what? Chime on in. We get your voice and opinions as well. And then all of that is going to be, you know what I'm saying, a better, broader discussion, especially if we can have a wider range of opinions. And as always, we always respect everybody's opinion, whether it's a comment that we're getting as far as on through the comment section, somebody giving us some information, just tapping in, texting us, or calling us, whatever the case it may be, right? So anyhow, things of that nature. You owe it yourself to tap in. We got the session, which is the regular showdown. We're going live, but we got the session, which we bring for you all the music lovers, creators, and culture heads. That's with myself, Doc Madness from Sweatshop Recordings, Demolition Man Productions, and my also co-affiliates from the labels as well. And of course, my co-host D. We got What's in Your Playlist, which is another section of the session, which is basically that's just us giving the background of what we like to listen to, and also with our guests and information that they give us as far as songs, music that they got vibing to their soundtrack to life. Then we have Unfiltered Combos, which is headlines, real talk, no fluff. As we always do, we just like to go ahead and keep it raw and uncut. Stone Not Stupid, that's for our 420 enthusiasts. Excuse me, 420 enthusiasts and our greenery officials, facts, clarity, and cannabis conversations. And we try to keep you guys abreast of everything that's going on within the cannabis culture that we find interesting. If there's anything that you guys have that you want to know about or that we are incorrect about, or you want to go ahead and fill us in, by all means, send us links and put that stuff in the description. And we also have our contact information as well. Then we also have what we like to know as is putting something good in your belly. And that's with the one and only Cal Grizzly Culinary Cannabis Chef D. Everything from snacks to soul food, comfort cuisine with the Left Coast Kings. All right. So, okay, now we got that out the way. Got some people popping in the green room. Let's go ahead and bring them on in here. We got the Left Coast Kings. What up, man? What up? What up? What up, my guy? Can't hear you. All right, so we got some technical difficulties going on, but it's all good. You know how we do.
What's up with it? What's
There we
happening, world? Thanks to everybody. What's Chris Nacken?
Yeah, and let's go ahead and bring the other motherfucker up in here. Let's get him up here. The one and only DJ TonyAfx.
What's cracking, lacking?
Up, man. Yep. How y'all doing today?
Man, good, bro. Ain't no complaints.
I'm cool.
Had a nice Sunday, you know.
Right.
Little football,
Yeah,
outing.
Yeah, we won't get too much into the football.
Yeah,
today.
we'll leave that alone. We'll leave that for Sports Talk Wednesday.
We'll leave that for that. And
we'll touch on that then. We got to we gotta lick the wounds and shit like that around here. Damn it.
And I hate what streaming artists doing with our damn layouts, bro. We had it all nice. We had everything good, ready to rock. And look, now it's cutting our banners, it's doing this. I don't know what they did, man. Ever since we had that nice panel last week, our stuff has been crazy. So just bear with us, y'all. It ain't us. So just bear with us. We'll get it right. We'll get everything going and moving and grooving. So
definitely not us.
Yeah, we try. We got a special thing for y'all too before we end the show. We're gonna tap in and give y'all a little something special. Looks like we having technical difficulties. Could be losing people, right?
Oh damn, he just fell off, huh?
Right. That's what it
Man.
is, man. There we go. Popping back
There you
on.
go.
Back on.
For sure.
Yeah, Rolling Stone. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get this moving, man. We got enough of this going, enough of that going. So let's go ahead and tap right on in. Um, y'all, I always try to keep everybody abreast and updated with the latest on what's going on with the AI because I do dabble in that. My hands is actively getting the real-time experience, and it's moving fast. It's moving real fast. So I do try to keep people, you know what I'm saying, informed to get into that groove and get that damn current and start swimming in it and, get your stamina up because it's a lot going on with that. So that's going to be a little bit of the topic that we're going to discuss a little bit today. I'm going to play a clip. Basically, I would like to label this as is the AI music causing a divide and is it killing music production? And when I say that by music production, I'm talking about as we know it, the traditional means of music production and industry and culture. So more or less wrapped around culture, not just production, excuse me. So what I'm gonna do is gear that up here. And I'm gonna get everybody's takes on that and definitely effects. I know that you've been doing this and seeing the different uh, evolution, I guess is a proper word, the evolution of music production wise, the way, from the analog, the ADATs, the D88, 2-inch reels, quarter-inch reels, what I'm saying, all of that good stuff. So I'm gonna dive into it. It is a little bit lengthy on the clip. I'm gonna give shout outs to the guy and what's going on with it. We'll put all that in the descriptions. This is not our material. We are just gonna go ahead and provide experiences and comments on this. All right, so let's bring this to the forefront. Yeah. All right. And away we go.
About music production. Das, what's going on? He said, I'm a late Gen X and remember when a 500 megabyte hard drive and Elise's ADAT on VHS was king with that. Things are so different now. I think I'm most saddened not by Biden and remakes. It will happen whether we like it or not. It's more sad that many feel prompts are king, and too many don't even want to learn how to make sounds from scratch. Like, to me, that is the most fun part. See, and I'm glad you brought that up. That is why I'm having these conversations, because I think we are probably going to be the last generation of people that care about making music in this more traditional way. So I think we have to be very careful with the way we package our conversations and even criticisms of people that come after us. Because realistically, if the next generation does not value making music in this traditional way, this whole industry of like music tech and all that stuff, it is going to die. It's not enough of us that are coming into this space that care enough about music production where we can keep all these companies afloat in the
I just wanted to stop it right there because I think he said a mouthful that I think that we can dive heavily on. And this is where it starts. This is to me like the baseline of everything that we're discussing as far as when it comes to AI music and the fears that are out there of it being able to take over. What I read a lot or what I'm hearing a lot is that individuals that put a lot of time and effort, put to get the experience, to get everything going and get the those 10,000 to become a professional expert at what they do or whatever it is that you have to do to become one of the elites or to at least say that, hey, I'm doing it on that level. You can have people that just get home from work one day and say, hey, I want to try this, download that. By the end of the night, they already got a full-fledged song idea and everything going. So let me go ahead and just ask, let me start with you, D, on what is your perception of, have you ever even thought about what he had just said? Because everybody's saying it's taken over. Everybody's like, oh man, AI is going to take jobs. It's going to take this. And then when it started hitting into the music industry, people were worried about it. Like, hey, they don't need artists like Timbo, right? He has an AI artist that he's pushing right now. From what I believe, they just dropped he just put his IG their IG page out, started building on it. But we'll get more into that a little bit later. What do you think about what he said and how that kind of correlates to what you've been hearing about AI?
Man, what authenticity?
Hmm.
Can't really hear him.
Authenticity. So
Hmm.
where's it going? How it's not it would be it's no longer authentic. It's
Do you believe that? Like it's not authentic because it
I
is.
mean
It's authentic, even though it's scraped
yeah, but
the whole internet.
it's not a
It's
real
still.
it's not a real person
Mm.
creating a melody or a beat or playing an instrument and like it kind of shits on the real artist though because they put time, effort, years of dedication into honing a craft, and now you can punch some keys on the keyboard and have something do something better than. I'm not saying that's better than you, but you know what I mean. Put out something just as quality, the same level of quality, right? But nowhere near the effort, the passion, the nut. Like it,
Right, but my question is this: since it scraped it from real artists, like let's start for where artificial intelligence is even based on, right? That starts from what the input, because it's
yeah,
like a gun. Okay, let's use this because this gets the lines get trampled easily when you start saying guns are evil, guns are this, guns are that. But are truly guns evil? Or truly a gun in the wrong hands could be evil? A gun by itself is harmless. You have to do things. You have to
just a
load it
piece
up.
of
You have to
machinery.
cock it back. Right. You have to do things to get it prepared to fire and become a weapon. Other than that, it's just a paperweight, and then it has to be in somebody's hand. So it's not sitting in your closet, and then all of a sudden the clip and the bullet mate, and then they get into the gun, and then it goes to the front lawn and shoot the fire. Whoever's
Yeah,
passing by, right? It doesn't happen that way, and I don't think AI. I believe AI is the same way. It's because that it's something that it had to go out, research, gather that information and all that data, and then compile new data off of that. Isn't that the same thing? Sampling? Isn't that the same thing with producers and music? It's all revolutionary. It all evolves and comes right back into the same thing. It's all taken from what we've heard in our past and
true. Yeah.
influenced us as well as our experiences. So effects. Do you have anything that you want to chime in as far as what I'm saying and what D is saying? Is there a dividing line that you see, or is it really just blurred?
My opinion is it's actually blurred, um, because from the aspect that D is saying, there is truth to it, to the fact that it's literally putting a tool to where the average person who doesn't have literally any musical talent at all in a position to they can create.
Hmm.
Now, on your end, on the evolutional side, is now it becomes a tool for the ones who really know how to make music. It can take it to maybe another level by exploring different ideas that they may not have been able to do, such as crossing genres and say, okay, I'm gonna make this beat here. Can you make a country version of this beat? Is yours beat to begin with, but now it's gonna give a different spin. So I think it's blurring the lines. Um, but it goes hand in hand with the last conversation, with the last session about how there was only a few DJs who really had good skills, and now you have 6-year-olds that can scratch it better than the DJs did in 10, 20 years ago. Just because we're seeing this evolution or evolving of skill sets within these communities. So even for me, I'm dibble dabbling a little bit. I haven't played with it enough to totally understand it, and I'm also approaching it from a different perspective too. From the music, I'm looking at it from trying to see AI is not going to just affect music; it's going to affect everybody, regardless of how much we think about it. It's going to affect everybody. It's going to affect anybody who's creative. It's going to affect anybody who is into blue collar work. I mean, white collar work. Because
Right.
anything that takes hands on is not going to really affect to a certain degree. Um, but when it's going to affect uh, copyright, people who are good at writing grants and stuff like grant writers and stuff like that. Now AI can write those. It can do marketing and promotion. Now they have what's called AI agents now. That so the scary part to me is at what point is it where people are not going to be able to tell the creativity between a real musician who's using it as a tool and a person who's really a layman person and then emulating a person who's a musician. That's the scary part to me.
Right. Okay. Which I get and I can understand. But let me just bring something to light that you had kind of commented on and see how you feel about it. Like you said, now there's these 6 year olds that could DJ. Now everything evolves, right? No matter what it is. And since we're just talking about music and we're gonna keep it to that, when you first started creating drum patterns and ideas, I remember going with mom to go purchase a beat machine, right? I forget which one it was at that time, but it was a beat machine, and you would just be able to create basically like drum loops on, right? And then you do what you do, take that, go drop it in the studio, whatever the case may be. Now, from now, right, it's evolved into you could do everything probably on a pad that was the same size that you had it at then. Back then, you could do everything from sample, sequence, song mode, play an instrument, record your vocals into it, do all of that. Now, is that the person who always wanted to do it? Is that like a stab at them? Or is it really a stab at just the tech industry that's creating? Because once again, a person like yourself who's a drummer by nature goes into now creating drum patterns, and you don't have a drum set,
True,
right?
true.
So at some point it has to be a median that works for everybody, because we all know a drum set, especially back then at your house, was really expensive. And not only that, just the sound that you would have to
Yeah, the sound is gonna be
right, because it's gonna be to everybody within that house, outside the house. So you're gonna have to do some soundproofing and such and such. So anyway,
Oh,
what I'm going with this is to ask you effects is that evolution aided us to be able to do what we did. And then now it just seems like once again, it's not AI, it's who uses it.
right.
Because it's gonna go after it's only scraping, first of all, it's only scraping supposed to be um commercial quality, high quality stuff. So if you're creating boo boo, it's not supposed to, you know what I'm saying? Take that and recreate that sound. But it's all in what you do with your prompting. Like he said,
yeah.
prompting is king. That's what we just watched. He said people were saying prop or looking at it like it's all in the way you could write a prompt versus the way you hear and interpret music through your, what I'm saying, your hearing and then your playing. Because like I always say, I don't have great hands and fingers. You've been my fingers, strap, G Reg. A lot of these other individuals have been my fingers. And when I started getting into the production aspect of it, it's a lot of the tools that aided me to become better and better and better at what I did, even though I don't rely on AI and I just happen to dive into it. Where do you see it as, okay, should it be something that we regulate and have like disclosure laws? Like, hey, okay, if you're using AI, you need to say, I'm using AI. You need to go ahead and let the world and let everybody know that this isn't me. This isn't TonyAfx. This isn't Doc Madness. This isn't Cal Grizzly. This is AI. Yes, I'm prompting, I'm inputting the information. But yes, I did have assistance from AI. Do you feel that that's somewhere we can start?
Yeah.
Really,
I say yeah.
truthful, that's a good question because I mean that can be a slippery slope. That would have been asking like, okay, uh, like you said, my first drum machine, the Dr. Rhythm DR220, that little box that was about this big,
Hmm.
um, that started my drumming. And even then, when I had that, people used to talk about that. Oh, drum machines is going to take away from drummers
Exactly.
and everything,
Right.
and that's not true. It's only in certain genres because if you're performing live, people still want to see live music. So I mean, it's
Right.
just how you create it to see if you can. And even then, I mean, we're seeing on those little tiny desk performances that they'll still have live musicians, but they
Yeah.
have a sample that was used and they trigger that sample so
Right.
that way they can have the authenticity of that particular song.
Sure.
Um, Now, as far as should there be some labeling? Maybe. Um, uh, because of the fact it can also cause biases towards it. And some people may approach it not understanding the creativity. Like what you've done with it, I still don't know how the hell you did it. And I will have to sit back and play. I played with it, a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, it's to be honest with you, it's not. It maybe as it evolves, it gets better because we are starting to see that where what Chat
Correct.
GPT now is on version 5. So
Yeah.
as they get better, you don't have to prompt as much.
Hmm.
But once again, it's only as good as what you feed it. So if you feed it boo boo, it's gonna come out boo boo.
Hmm.
Uh, it's more descriptive, and so that's the reason why I'm saying people like true musicians or even because you can make movies with AI, but if you're a person who has a director's background, you can make that AI a lot better than someone else who just, yeah, sure, they came up with an idea, a concept, but the director can says, I want a shot from this angle with this lighting, with this aperture, and I want it to slow pan at this and all that stuff that if you don't know that lingo or have that vision,
Yeah.
you just not it's not going to come out the same. So so maybe a label in regards to maybe there should be different versions. Like if it's fully created AI
Hmm.
versus AI assisted versus AI supplemented or something like that. It could be a whole genre just all created 100%
Of
versus
course.
someone who's using it as just a complement to what they do. So maybe like that, like the parental advisory came around. Parental advisory lets you know there's going to be some cussing and some going on in the song where if you don't have it, it's clean
Good
for the
question.
most part.
Good. And D, before you jump in, because it seems like you got something to say, I just want to comment on that parental advisory because now parental advisory, that doesn't really it to me, that's bullshit because parental advisory shouldn't just be me cussing. Because I could say fuck, bitch. I could say all of that and not mean anything. But then I can also say a lot of derogatory things and mean it without cussing and make it, you know what I'm saying? I'm slanging and this female is giving me top and you know what I'm saying? Like shouldn't that still have the same parental advisory? And the only reason why I bring that up is because that's the problem I think that we would have once we start doing some of this disclosuring in AI. So what you said is perfectly true. It needs to be in its own, but that automatically just starts from identifying. So go ahead, D. Let me get your partake on what you feel as far as should it be have disclosure laws or some type of thing.
It it's gotta have some regulations, bro. It just has to. I think in order for it to work properly,
Hmm.
it's gotta be some. It's gotta have some regulations.
Right,
It just does.
right.
It's it's got to be some little gatekeeping. You
Not
can't just
AI gatekeeping either.
not. I mean, not by AI, but by
Right. That's what I meant to
those
say.
who
Not
are
by
running
AI.
it. Yeah, we don't want AI doing nothing but what we ask of it. But shit,
Right.
even then, that might be too much, depending on whose mind is behind the keyboard, right?
Right.
Man, pay no attention. I have a little shit in a whole nother room. Swearing to God, he a thug or something. This motherfucker is smaller than my foot, bro.
What do you want to be?
Yeah.
That's all right,
Motherfucker
though,
just
'cause I
could.
know Effects and I, we watch a certain video, and we're not going to go in and do any plugs here, but this person has an animal that is just part of the show, bro. I mean, everybody who watches it be like, even say what's up to him, and like, bro, you know what I mean? Just it's no issue on our end. And
Yeah, if I bring him
listen,
over here, he ain't gonna even say nothing.
I know that's what I'm saying. You put it get camera shy, right?
Yeah, get camera shot. Yeah.
I remember last time you brought him up, pulled him up, he kind of just almost like went limp.
Yeah.
He was
Like that. Hey, like that frog on the
yeah,
WB or whatever, like that, you know.
yeah, all of that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Ain't
Oh,
nobody
shame on
looking,
that.
he's singing and dancing. You know what
Right,
I'm saying? Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Let me just put a little context to what's going on, because a lot of these DSPs, these digital streaming platforms, they are starting to test AI content detection and labeling. So they are putting that in there. They are doing some real time right now testing it out. And for an example, like Universal Music Group, the infamous, right? Like, I mean, it's not like they don't do enough already. But they're already starting to file takedowns on AI songs that are imitating their own artist voices. Now, this is where I'm not mad at them, but once again, there's such a gray area that is that going to give, especially a big machine like UMG, man, is that going to give them more power effects to start doing things that maybe they're overstepping boundaries and infringing on certain type of rights that these artists do still have? Because what if it's not? What if it's okay? Let's say this: we everybody's voice isn't unique. There are some that are, but not everybody's voice is unique. And especially once you get into a recording aspect and start filters, because why? People say, oh, I want to sound like Lil Wayne. I want to sound like Young Thug. I want my voice to sound like, right? They love these auto tunes, these all of these things, once again, that are a form of AI. But anyhow, they want some of this done to them. So they're looking to sound like whatever's hot and what's popular. So now UMG can go in and say, like, hey, you if it does have that disclosure that is AI, yeah,
Right.
you did this purposely. How do you feel about that? Like, isn't that a very big gray area that can be troublesome to independent musicians?
The question is how hard it's going to be to keep pushing that, because in that case, say for instance Jay Farrell, right, who's infamous for doing voice impersonations. Um, who else is there's quite a few people that's out there that can do that. So if they happen to do a performance or something where they're doing an impression, is that going to count towards that as well? I mean, to a certain point, they're still imitating another person's voice.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So,
There's
where
people that
does
have
that
their whole
stand?
careers are based off of impersonations.
Right
Well, if you went
now,
to Vegas at any point, we've seen it.
oh yeah, I mean they're using it to identify all kinds of stuff. So I mean, it's
Muted,
just
bro.
like I think it's just a matter of time before even sampling is going to be. They're going to catch sampling like that because of the fact that it can identify the signature of the samples and so on and so forth. Um, so it's like a catch-22 situation. Sampling, we used to catch hell. Oh, sampling is stealing music and whatnot. Of course, you're using it in a different fashion. If you're chopping it up, slowing it down, reversing it, and so on and so forth. But now, this AI music can generate this sound without it being. I mean, literally any genre, it locks that genre to the point it's uncanny. Now, it doesn't have what's missing in AI so far, from what I'm hearing, is more of the soul, I guess, the feel. It's sonically there, but it
Mhm.
doesn't give you that feeling as much
Heard
as
that. I've heard
certain
that.
songs.
Right.
What's that song? Anxiety by Doechii, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
but you heard the original song, which is A Girl I Used to Know, which
Hmm.
is the original song.
Original song. You're right. That
You
came.
feel the original.
Hmm.
And at least in my opinion, you feel the way because of the performance of the song, and it was dynamics. On the second one, even though it's a hit, it just doesn't have the same impact. And I think that's what we're going to hear until AI learns how to implement some feeling into it, to invoke that. It's just going to be ear candy.
Okay. And you know, it's funny to say that because I hear that often when I'm doing research and finding different things, just so that way I can keep my myself updated with what the latest is that's moving with this stuff. And a lot of it does come down to where people say that they can tell about, oh, I can automatically tell when I'm listening to something that if it's AI or not. People are starting to get those two, and what you said is one of them is the owning in on the emotion that's being used or said because how we speak and how we perform as rappers, singers, and others. We go off of that, right? Because I could write something for D and we say it two different ways because it's just the way we speak and articulate, right? And where we put our phonications, right? So it's definitely it misses and it lacks that. I'm sure it would be able to eventually start to grow. And as you start to put more prompting, because that could be part of it too. We don't know all of what is being put in the prompting aspect. Because I could say this. When my earlier stuff that I was working on, I was having like, damn, it's doing a lot of everywhere. But then I start to learn that you also not only do you want to put what you want, you got to put in what you don't want. So I always say this in life, right? When you say yes, you got to know what you're saying no to. Like it
Exactly.
goes hand in hand, and I think it's the same thing. So, for those out there that's trying, that's a tidbit. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're putting your prompts in, don't only describe with the things that you want. Also, got to be descriptive on the things that you don't want. So, if you don't want it to be sounding flat, if you don't want it to sound like it was created in a basement without having good acoustics, if you don't want it to you know recreate something that you already liked. So these are all certain things that I've just learned that by doing it. So anyhow, with that, it doesn't carry a lot of human emotion, but can it eventually get to that point? What do you guys think?
Oh, I think so.
Okay, D, you got it.
That's a definite. It will.
Okay,
Everything evolution is inevitable
I mean, it's
to an
the
extent,
exponential
right?
growth of it
So
itself.
right,
It's inevitable.
it's a
that part.
slippery slope, or I'm not gonna say it's a slippery slope. It's a thin line as far as how it should work, right? Like there's got to be a structure. There's got to be something in place because if not, it's gonna shit on a lot of artists. I think, especially if they're not if it's if they don't know how to use it to help them, right?
Well, the cat's out the bag now. I mean, you can't put the toothpaste in the tube. Like you say, you can't put the toothpaste in the tube anymore once it's out.
Yeah,
So it's growing so exponentially. There's just really no way of really stopping it. Now, it's just, but like anything else, it's a tool, like robots, right? Robotics is taking jobs and so on and so forth, but there's also robotics is saving people's lives because they're able to do some of these surgeries remotely, from a different country, you
yeah,
know. So it's really in the hands of the person who has the tool and how it's been implemented. And like you said, there should be something in along the lines of saying we need to have some regulation, some control, so it just takes off and goes off from left field and so on and so forth. But the question is how. I
yeah.
mean, it's gonna get to the point it's gonna outthink us. Um, just in general, if we want to take it down that road, we're just talking about the music aspect, but it's affecting everything across the board.
Oh yeah,
Right, right. It is, and like I said, because and that's the reason why I think I jump in to try to bring a lot of light to the subject because, like I said, in the panel that we had last week, out of everybody that was on the panel, the consensus is pretty much that nobody has really tried it. They have this, they have they've drawn their line in the sand, so to speak, already on how they what they feel about it. And I think we all do that. We all kind of take what's out there. We kind of get our own senses to, put them together and say, like, you know what, this is what I gather, and this from this is how I feel. And I think that's not the best way to maneuver, because my experience is going to be different from your experience. It's going to be different from effects experience.
Yeah.
So if I'm having a horrible experience and that's all I'm saying, then I could deter other individuals, especially those that take my opinion, with some value in regards, right? So they're gonna be like,
Yeah.
well, dang, if they don't like, if effects tells me something, I already hold it with a certain value to it because I already know the man's experience. I've seen him in action. I know, like, you put him in any studio, like it's man, step back, right? So if he's gonna give me something, I'm gonna take it with a high value. Yeah, I'll do my own research. It's the type of person I am, which we all should, but at least we can deter people or we can encourage people
Yeah.
with our experiences and our words.
It can
So
be used so many ways
right, right,
that if you know or even have a just a small thought of what you might want it to help you with, you know what I mean? You
right,
can go, you might be able to go down a path where you're like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying?
right.
Like that's how it is with me right now. Just
Hmm.
when I tell you last time we spoke, I was like, bro,
Hmm.
I'm racking my brain. And I was like, ooh, let me ask a couple questions.
Right, right.
And then now I got like, man, helped me out a lot, bro. It helped me out. It helped
And that's
really
the
did.
thing.
It helped me
You
out a lot.
if
I was
you
like,
add
damn.
it, right, if you're adding it as a tool, like Effect said, and what we've been talking about since day one on this, is that if you're adding it as a tool, then you're in a whole different bracket. And let me give some
Yep.
clarity to that a little bit, right? The US Copyright Office, they're saying that AI only works aren't copyrightable. So right there, you're going to run into, and that's the reason why I was bringing this up, because there's so many advances that are happening that it's already getting to court levels. They're already making decisions. There's rulings. There's all kinds of things, but yet we're sitting back still trying to figure out how to use it and implement it by the time we're done, because it's not a quick process. Like, I mean, I've been working on this first interaction with AI for months, and I'm there, but I'm not like, when I know I'm there with my own shit, my own organic product and production and mixing and mastering, that's a whole different thing. This, you got to sit back, and if you're not listening to every second of what it's doing for you, you're gonna miss a lot, bro. You're gonna miss a lot. And I think that's when people say, when they listen to stuff, especially if you have a trained ear, effects, these, people that's been in the industry for quite some time, they have, especially if you're a producer engineer, you have trained ears. So there's things that, like, when I hear people say, like, oh, you know what, AI always puts this funny shingle or this, and it's like, hmm, what is that? Right? And then they'll say, like, oh, you just didn't hear it. They'll play something, and I might be able to hear it or I might not be able to hear it. I'm not saying one or the other, but if you don't hear it, guess what you're gonna say is like, this nigga tripping. I don't hear shit. Sound good to
Yeah.
me. But then the effects might be like, got it. Yeah, I hear that on every single. So now I know to look for and listen to that to be able to detect it. And I'm sure once again it's going to evolve where it's going to understand, and that's what their way they're looking at it, and they're going to change that. But all I'm saying is that fans so far are starting to find ways to determine and tell the difference, but you have to be listening. Is that a lost thing nowadays? Because the other part of the video that I haven't even gotten into is the part of, if you do not look, you're a chef, you love to cook, right? So if if we have a young generation that's never tasted home cooking, all they do is get DoorDash and all Uber Eats. Once again, no damn, we don't get paid for that. So, but if you get any of that delivered and they're used to eating that, when you cook something, they're gonna say, "This doesn't taste good because I like that." Right?
Yeah.
So, do you think it's gonna be they're gonna be so desensitized to what the organic sound is, the
Yeah.
DJ Quicks, the those kind of sounds that we know that are getting people to come in and play live instrumentation on top
Yeah.
of it. Oh, we like that, but we want that live. And that's what separated, a lot. So now people aren't going to understand that because they're so used to being like, well, okay, I got boop, 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 and it's doing this. And it's so they're going to be ears tuned into this sound with all the extra shimmering and all the stuff that may be going on in AI. So to them, there is no separation to say, this is now, of course, when you listen back and you might play this and you play something from 10 years ago or 20, 30, that's different. But I'm talking about the people that are raised right now that are going to listen and being like, yeah, you guys are old heads. You don't know what you're talking about. Versus us being like, you don't hear the difference,
Oh,
right?
we went through that. I mean, it's we went through that in the 90s, right? Analog. I mean, there's a clear difference with analog. I mean, if it hits tape, it sounds warmer. It there's a sound difference to it. But
Mhm.
it was the same thing with mini discs. It was the same thing with MP3s in the beginning. People was like, oh, it's digital, but as the quality got higher, which is the same thing with the AI, 128-bit MP3s, they sounded like crap.
Mhm.
But people who just wanted to hear the music didn't care. And then as it evolved, and now you have these CD quality MP3s now, which we're now used to, the average person doesn't know the damn difference. And that's kind of where we're going to be heading with the AI too. It's going to eventually evolve where the quality is going to be to the point that there isn't going to be that difference right off the bat. Now, sure, your audio files and your trained ears can
Right.
pick up on it. Because
Right.
I mean, I heard the same thing on the first album when I released that the first Ivan Clay, the From the Soul album,
Mhm.
and I had a mini disc, which lifespan was about the size, blink of a eye, but at the
Hey, it was
time, and
good
everybody
try.
used to say it's compressed, you can hear the difference and everything. And then I mixed it and dropped it down to the mini disc, then transferred it to CD. Nobody's ever come to me to this day and say, "Hey, I can tell you did it on a mini disc."
Right. And we have projects.
And we have projects. Matter of fact, the was it the I didn't go to Pro Tools until Menace Yoki Gold's
Right.
Gravel Foundation.
Hmm.
So the
Yep.
first 2 to 3 albums were all done on a mini disc, 8-track mini
Right.
disc.
Right.
Nobody came to me to. It's just once again, it's the tool that
Tool.
we utilized at that time, and we just did it to our advantage. The EPS, I was doing sampling on that thing that people say I didn't even know you can use it like that. And it
Right.
was an old keyboard from that was made in '87. It was something like
Right.
that. But I did what I did with it. But
Mhm.
it's the evolution will eventually get there. But it's only really people with trained ears. The average person, the average consumer of music, the average listener, as you stated, they don't really listen. Really,
Mhm.
they feel it, they hear it. They're not listening.
Mhm.
So there's a
That's
difference between
right.
hearing and listening. So it's just the ones who or they may listen to the lyrics. They're not listening to the sonics of the song. They're listening to it and how it makes them feel.
Feel
But
right.
the average person really doesn't really care about how good it sounds unless it sounds like total trash. Because
Right.
they're used to the radio too. I mean, radio compresses the hell out
Yeah.
of music.
And once you start getting into the back, like really, and that's the thing about music in general, because it's so like it's frequency. Let's just start there, right? It's frequency. We all know about the frequencies and how they make us feel, and when they switch from this frequency to that frequency, but even more so, when we're listening to the music, that's the reason why, like even on what's in your playlist, what's the first thing that comes on after you all of us give our intro? It says music is to be not to be heard, it is to be felt, right? Because that's what it like to me, that's what music does. Like if you play a song that you love, I don't give a damn if it's a 1960s, 70s, a 40s doo-wop. If you love the song and you play it, what do? What's gonna happen? You get up, you become euphoric. You could be in the car and you by yourself jamming the fuck out. If you playing the drums effects and you doing the drum breakdown, or D is singing his high note, Mariah Carey, whatever the hell. My bad. I just had to throw that in there. But But yeah, right. So whatever that may be, it makes you feel a certain way, man. And that I think that's something that is lost, man. Songs don't make you feel anymore. It does make you feel for the present moment. Like if you go to a club, a lot of the times every song sounds and makes you feel good because you're in a place that you're going to kind of unwind, what I'm saying, let it hang loose. If you got some people that you're there with, your company is euphoric, it's nostalgic. So all of this starts to, and then you hear that song, and it's like, hey, a song that you could hate. Come on, y'all. A song that you could hate, and it come on in the club or at an event. Say you're somewhere, and and it plays, and it's like a DJ, and you still be like, you know what? As much as I hate this song, man, it do hit because it has some type of value to it, right? And it's where you're at that time. But if you're in your car and you have a choice, what you gonna do? Press the media button, put on something you like, switch it to whatever it may be. But in there, it's banging, people shaking their tailbone. It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Effects.
agree.
You just got to.
Like,
Somebody said, "What's up to you, Effects?" We got one of the Thingsters out there that's watching.
oh, for sure, for sure. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
So
Melanie,
Melanie Fields. What's happening?
what's up?
Appreciate you for tuning in.
Yeah, appreciate
cool,
you.
cool,
Thank you
cool.
for that.
So does
That's
the
old
dog in
stuff.
the back. He appreciate it too.
Old school right there. That goes back to P High.
Yeah, that's how we do it, man. And that's see more people like that we need that's gonna be you know, catching what we gotta say and post something and say, hey, you know what, we like it. Even if it's just a hello, what's up? Remember me. Definitely that's what we all about here, man. So let's go ahead and connect in bridges and make all of that. Yeah, what's up, mama? How you doing? Miss Fields? Definitely,
Yep.
definitely, definitely. Good to see you. Good to see you, man. I'm glad everybody's still above ground, so that's also a blessing. Is can't let that one pass
Man,
us
for
by
sure.
Yeah.
because these
There's a
past two
lot of P
months,
High.
man,
Not a
they've been
lot of
overtiming on that. So
Yeah.
we lost a lot. We lost a lot. So, but as we
yep.
move right along with this, I do want to just ask this, since we were talking about it having the separations and maybe disclosures for AI. Let me spin it. Let me spin it. Right. How about this? How about if we start doing human-made certifications for songs? I think
Well,
that's a lot
it could be
easier.
the flip side of it, you know. It's
I
just
think
like,
that yeah,
made in
more
USA or made in China. It could be the same thing, you know.
right.
There's supposedly, I think there is. I was watching a video that tripped me out, but they were talking about in regards to there's a company that's trying to do iris scans and stuff like this, but
Mm,
it's more for the authentication of the person being human. So the
mm,
whole world is kind of cataloged now. We can go down a different road with that one. But to be able to say you can tell that this person is different, authentic,
right,
compared. So yeah, the music aspect could be just like we used to be. You don't see it nowadays where you say digitally mastered,
right.
digitally
Mhm,
created, and all this stuff. You don't
right.
see that anymore. Um,
True
but
that.
it's
True
just a
that.
given. But everything is digitally made now, so it should be the opposite now, analog and so on and so forth.
And that's the
So
reason why, because of everything is digital and easily to manipulate in the digital world. That's the reason why I think it's a lot better to flip it on the side of it being human made certification or disclosure, because I think that gray area for once again, melody generators, mastering tools, lyric assets, that's all mainstream music production that AI is already being implemented in. So when you say that, I think it's one of those things where you say now you're like, wait a minute, am I using AI? Are you using output? That's AI generation. Are you using waves bundles that create bass lines? Or you know what I'm saying? That's AI generation. But because it's not creating the full aspect of the song and the meat and potatoes, it's just one part. You tend to kind of look at it a little bit different. So we can't brush that underneath the rug either. Um, do you
yeah, I
feel
just
go ahead,
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
just think as far as AI, like you said, I mean, it's going to have its impact, and like you said, there should be some type of labeling, some way to identify and at least be open with it that it's been used in creation. But You know, it's just inevitable at this point. Like I say, I'm looking at it from the standpoint of marketing, promotion, and things of that nature. I mean, these AI agents, you know, not bots, but you know, I one time asked you, they said, go and analyze our website and give me a feedback of what could be used to improve it. And it broke. It wrote like a 3-page, you
Mhm.
know, this is what you need to do with your SEOs and whoop and whoop de whoop, but just as good. Your website loads in X amount of seconds, which is 4 times faster than other website blah. I'm sitting there just like, and that was literally in like 15 seconds. It went out to the web, checked all the pages, and came back with an analysis. I'm like, damn. Okay.
Mhm.
Can you get that from a business consultant? No, you
Not
like
that
they
fast.
Yeah,
not
not
that
that
Unless
fast.
they're using AI.
price.
You know,
Unless they're
so
using AI, right?
Right.
exactly, you know, or the good aspects of it too is like, okay, I got ground beef, eggs, and some crackers, blah blah, whatever, in
You
my
just tell them the
refrigerator, and you
ingredients,
can
Eric, and it
tell
gives you
them
the
the
recipe.
ingredients, and it will tell you the recipe of what you can come up with, and so on
Yep,
and so forth.
yep.
And
Yeah.
so, I mean, there's the good, and then there's the bad with it. No matter what, it's going to be good and bad with it. It's just how we utilize and how we utilize this in society. Unfortunately, it seems like the newer it is, of course, we're behind the ball a little bit, you know, right now, because AI has been out for like 3 years now, so on and so forth. I heard it coming, just like cryptocurrency. I was in crypto in 2017, 2016, but the cats that were doing it in 2008, like the dude that was buying pizza with Bitcoin, you know, he 25 Bitcoins for a pizza. I guess he's really kicking himself in the butt now, you know, because that would be worth millions. But when you're in the game early, sometimes you don't know what you're seeing until later. And but right now, people who are getting into it now, it's still in the infancy stage, so we still got time. But you're not getting into AI to some degree now. You're going to be left behind, and it's going to be literally people. It's the jobs that are like they said. It's not the job. People going to lose their jobs to AI. They're going to lose their jobs to the people who know how to use AI. There's the
That
difference.
part. That part. Well, and let me give you another example, right? And this is I didn't even know a lot of this was going on until I started doing more and more research for this for these type of segments. But sync licensing. Okay. Now this is where a lot of people look for those sync licensings and stuff like that, right? Placement basically. But these companies are testing AI for cheaper ad beds now. You know what I'm saying? Like they're doing it because it's a lot. They can have somebody on their staff creating these different jingles for them instead of having it being submitted by us and then have to negotiate some type of what you call it with it, right? Give me a second, you guys. Go ahead, continue. Let me get your input on that.
Go ahead, D.
Man, bro, it's it's just a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. I and it's so early, yet it's so early to the public. Cause these fools been had this shit popping.
Oh, that's another conversation.
Yeah, you know what's really going on, but so
That's a whole nother conversation. That can't be
yeah,
on the
because
session. That
how
will have
like
to
now
be.
that's where my head is. Because I know we talking about like it's been around for 3 years, but in my head like it's been around for like 3 centuries, three
No, it's been
decades
around
and
longer
shit
than
like
that. It
that.
just didn't
You
become.
know,
It didn't hit the public until 3 years.
yeah,
I mean, it's
it's
like
public, it's new to the public. Yeah,
like I tell people, if you really think about it, I say, science fiction has been telling us about what's to come for years. It's just most people don't pay attention when we look at it from that perspective.
yeah.
Yep.
Like the Bluetooth. Look at Star Trek, right? And be like, okay, Bluetooth.
Star
That
Trek.
was the communicator on the chest of Captain Kirk and the crew. The
Yeah,
when they used to have the screen come up when they said computer and they talked to the computer, that was voice recognition. The little
flat
shiny
screen
disc that they
computers.
slid into the slot on the computer in desk, that was the CD or laser disc. If you think about it from that perspective, the
Yeah, the
communicators were flip
Jetsons.
phones. The lasers that they were shooting the laser guns. Well, we haven't gotten to
The
they do
public
have
ain't got
those.
none, but
We don't have them, but they do. But I mean,
yeah,
everything's there. I mean, lasers in itself. I mean, you can get tattoos removed with lasers and things like that. So we're seeing some of the Star Wars aspects, like the medical ships where they had the people in those submersion tanks and so on and so forth. That's real too. So it's like, yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. We can have one of those because
It's some it
that's when I started doing
it's
the.
just a lot of avenues, and there's got to be rules and regulations to like every last one of them. Who gets to create these rules? You know what I mean?
That
Like
that is the question. Who's
that,
going to
you know what I'm
be
saying?
able?
Who's and what even qualifies them to make the rule? You know what I mean? Like it's a lot to it. It's a lot to it. It's a lot to it,
Right?
and it
It
might come
is.
down to
It is.
it's
I
gonna come down
mean,
to pockets,
well,
deep
everything
pockets.
everything comes
You know
down
what
to
I'm
pocket.
saying?
That's what lobbying is,
Deep
right? I
pockets
mean,
that you
so
might,
biggest pocket gets the biggest lobbying. So, but are we trading creativity for like convenience? Is that what we're doing here? Is it something like that we're looking at and saying it's just not sound? Like we know when you create music, bro, it's just not sound. But to some people, it is. So to some people, it's literally just sound because they don't take everything else that is that is being done. Like when I listen to an album, I'm gonna say be realistic. When I listen to an album, I listen to it for different aspects. First thing I'm listening to is just, saying the lyrics and how it makes me feel. If I even like the album. Once I like the album and I got more frequent listening pleasure to it, then I'm starting to listen to the optics of the way it was produced, the way it was mixed, how the flow of the album goes, the concepts. I start to dive deeper into it. I don't think a lot of people listen to music along those lines anymore. They, like I said, there's not even a value in releases. I mean, it's getting to a point to where now major artists have to kind of keep their releases on the down low because I don't know if you guys heard what just happened with Tyler Creator and AI on his latest release. He's got lawsuit after he's got a lawsuit, and then he's also had another issue to where the lawsuit's coming just from an AI created the people that's doing his merch. I guess they got an image from a real person's dog. If you know, just go take a look at it. He has like his merch line has a dog. Well, that's a real dog. Blah 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 blah. I guess he's getting sued over it. The people say, here's the picture. Everything links up, so it could just be who he's paying to get it. And once again, this is what happens when you're paying a third party or something like, and they're using AI. You'll get caught in that backlash. Now, what happened with his music is you had people that was finding out about his release. Was it Tap on the Glass, right? But there was nothing. There was nothing leaked, no sound, no nothing. Everybody's anticipating this album. Well, what happened was is people just started making up songs and they were getting hundreds and thousands of views. And it was like, but they had nothing to go off of. When you listen to the album, that song was nowhere close to what that real song sounded like. They just had titles and images, and they started like literally there was pages, bro, like 2 or 3 pages that identified that came up and saying like this was and they sounded different. Now, even those songs didn't sound alike. They were getting hundreds of thousands of views, bro. And people come because of the anticipation. So this is
that's
what I'm
crazy.
saying. That AI has gotten to a place that it's so many aspects that we have to take a picture of and analyze on what the hell is going on. Like I said, in sync licensing, that's going to hurt people that do that type of stuff, right? So how do we start getting to a point? How do you even do splits when you do an AI? Like there's all of these things. I think people just we've been thrown into this this frying pan, and we just got to figure it out because it came over. I'm not well, it didn't come overnight. We just said that, but it came into the public's eye. The accessibility came into it overnight. I don't know about chat 1, 2, and 3, but when 4 and 4.5 or whatever them little versions started hitting them betas, it started blowing up because the 1, 2s, and 3s it wasn't getting a lot of talking hype. But all of a sudden, when 4 hit and then Grok and all of these other ones started, like that competition really started pulling for your viewership and your subscription money. Then it's like, wow, bro, look at how many companies have just been just we know what Suno, Udio, and what's the other one, Mercurials or something like that. Like them are the only ones that, but there's so many others that are popping up, bro. They're saying like, hey, we do it too. Matter of fact, look at CapCut. For those that started doing CapCut, look at all of the different stuff that CapCut can do now. I mean, everybody's trying to say, don't leave my platform because we can do it all, right?
But shoot, you got
11
some
labs.
songs with AI built in already now.
That's what I'm saying. 11 labs, right? Voice.
Oh, that's
Uh,
scary
oh,
because I've used it.
that's what I'm
I've
saying.
used it, and I was to hear yourself cloned is a trip. I did it for us. I wanted to make a subliminal message thing when I'm asleep, so I've made one for myself just to hear what it sounds like, and yeah. And of course, for the purposes is when we talk to ourselves in our head, we hear our own voices. So something that's going to be more impactful is hearing your own voice, and to hear my voice cloned and listening to it. I played it to a friend of mine, and he said, "Dude, if you didn't tell me that you recorded it, I swear it was you." So it was like, "Nope, it's a clone of my voice." And that's another thing. That's another scary part that we're going to be dealing with. These deep fakes and stuff like that. And that's once again another conversation to go down. But if we're hearing these songs being created and people can't tell the difference, what else can it be used for?
Right. Well, we definitely gonna have to get on Unclose the Convos for that one because
Yeah,
there's a
for
lot
sure.
of stuff going on. And just real quick, for y'all to just even go do some real research, go check out the 15-year-old in Arizona that was catfished by AI by the cartel, Mexican cartel had her at the border
Yep.
on that. So and this was a
Yeah.
15-year-old, and the border was almost 3 hours away from her house. So
Yep.
it's getting scary, man, on things that could be done out there. But since this is a music segment, we'll keep it
Yep.
to
Yep.
music. But
Yep.
definitely, it's something that we have to look at as a broad. That's why I wanted to jump in, tap in these in the session. And like I said, we haven't even gotten into the other part that I wanted to, and we're already at an hour. And that's the great thing about this because without it being a discussion, we really don't know what the hell is going on, man. You can't just, even if you're doing YouTube research, until you speak about it, until you talk to other people about it and get those live experiences and hear yourself. Like when you listen to other people, it's different than when you hear yourself talk. Like I've done this before where, especially in music and production, where like I said, I was an artist. Do you know affectional? I started as, hey, all I wanted to do was rap. That was it. But then when you start to learn and able to hold conversations that you've absorbed from having other conversations and being in the room with other individuals and like minds and higher knowledge that you absorb from, and then you could regurgitate some of that information, but you didn't know that it just stuck with you. It's like when you're talking, things start to make more sense, and then connecting the dots, right? So I think that's what these discussions really, really are about for myself. Because as I dive into it, my mind is being blown, and I share it with y'all guys every day. Something different. Well, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? So it's definitely how I want to enlighten the listeners and other people, especially when we have a panel of people who don't really dive into it that much.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Hey, but
we'll
y'all
just
don't
let's see
forget
how it
to
goes.
like, subscribe, hit them buttons and bells. Tune in. We got plenty of segments and all that good stuff. From putting something good
Like,
in your belly with
share,
me.
subscribe.
We got of course, the session right now. What's in your playlist? Filtered convos, where we're gonna take some of these convos and transfer them over there. You know, Stone Not Stupid. For
Hmm.
them 420 folks, man, strain of the day, all that good stuff. We
Something
got
good
it
in
popping.
your belly.
So don't forget to check us out. Hit the page, official _ things of that nature.
I'm gonna close it with a question for both of you guys. Now, this is a public sentiment. Polls have already shown that younger audiences are more accepting of AI generated music than older listeners. I would just like to know, why do you think that is?
All they know is tablets and shit. They so used to. They
Well,
don't have an ear for it. It's so cookie cutter. It's so easily and massively produced. that these kids don't. They'll never know real quality until their parents let them hear what real music sounds like. Like you gotta let them know. There's a kid on Facebook, little young dude. He's been on. I think he's been on like a couple of talk shows. Little young dude, 4 or 5. Parents playing music from different genres, different year, everything. Little dude is in tune to like he know his Michael Jackson. He know his like he can rattle off names of bands and songs and stuff, and it's like that's what is needed, right? That's what he needs. He needs to understand, to be a lover of music, you got to know where some of it started. So it's got to go back a little bit and, you know, and learn some things, right? Especially if you take a liking to something, you say, "Oh, I like my son. He loves the Temptations." Temptations, yeah, Temptations. Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Right.
That's his favorite song. But how can an 11-year-old? What is an 11-year-old? At the time, he was 11. He's 22 now. But at the time, most people were looking at me like, "How does he even know about them?" It's like I just kind of put him on game to music. Like
It's definitely
I was
gonna
like,
be.
I put him on game. Like I just have to. Like here, check this out. Or you think that's cool? Here, this is what they sound like. Listen to this. Or he'll hear or someone samples a beat or you know, a chord or anything, right? And he's like, "Dad," I'm like, "Nah, listen to this. This is where it came from." So I think kids nowadays they're not going to know the difference unless they're taught.
Okay.
Like you got
It's
to keep
definitely
the
exposure. It's definitely exposure. And then, like, say for instance, it's not a knock nowadays, but there's genre specific radio station channels and YouTube channels and so on and so forth. Now, where we grew up, we were exposed to a lot of different things. It was like we said before. Casey Kasem in top 40. You can literally listen to R&B, pop, rock, and jazz, or whatever. Um, Talking about the Sade type, smooth operator type songs, and Pat Benatar. And so it's going to be the kids, if they're not exposed to it, they're not going to know, because they're literally listen to music in a lane that's like this. They might veer off a little, but they don't until they're exposed to it, which is uh, great to see that I'm seeing some of these young cats going back and listening to some of the older stuff. I mean, they're literally just going back to the 90s, but like you said, you have the Temptations and so on and so forth. It's just they have to be exposed to it, and they have
yeah.
to be open to it. Once they're exposed to it, they can start hearing it. There's a father and daughter combination. I see that they do these TikTok and YouTube shorts, and mostly hip hop. But the fact that she knows it word for word, and she's performing it with her dad and whatnot, that is dope to see. There's a lot
Yeah.
of them that don't understand that. So my son, when I was growing up, he'll hear this. I remember one time he heard a song. He said, "Hear the song? Oh, that came from the such and such commercial." No, 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 no. No, no, no. What? He said, "Oh yeah, that came from." No, no. Let me play you the original. And for like an hour, was going through albums and pulling up songs and saying, "No, this is the original," and this and the Daisy Chain. And you'll see there's another creative on YouTube. She does shorts where it'll be like what was it? Gen Z, they'll play a song, and then the millennial will come and will play and say, "No, this is the original song," and then the mom will come and say, "No, she's Gen X and she plays the original songs," and they all look at her like, "What is that?" Kind of like not
Yep.
understanding. It's like 3 versions later. This is the original song.
Yeah.
Everything came from. So it's they just need to be exposed to it. But I think because there's so much going on right now, there's more openness. But the technology, they're used to it. They're born into it now. They're just used to it. So everything is going to be just accepted at face value, not understanding everything else that comes along with it. Just like our parents, right? The VCR was challenging for them. Like can you set the clock on the VCR? I'm like, damn, I've done it like 4 times already, right? But
My
for us, it
only
was
person, man, my grandfather was on it. He bought the first one when it came out.
Mhm.
18,000 pound fucking box. He couldn't walk
Yeah,
it
we had
through.
a Betamax too. You know,
Man, that was the only old dude I knew. He had no problem with technology. He was up on it. Like,
but there was a lot of them that were like
oh
that. And
yeah,
then, of course, then
yeah,
we came along and then we were more technologically savage. And
yeah.
I remember one time I gave my son my old Note 5, right? And this dude was doing more with that phone than I ever knew was even possible. And I had the phone for 3 years. I'm like, what the hell? I didn't even know to do that.
Give me
Now
my
you got
phone
these
back.
little 2, 3-year-olds that could fly through a tablet like it's nothing.
Oh man,
So I mean, it's just
yeah,
technologically, they're savvy, and so they're
yeah,
more willing to accept it. But the bad thing is because they're so willing to accept it, they don't really think it through.
yeah.
So
Right.
it is what it is.
Yeah, I definitely agree with both you guys. I also think that one of the problems, though, that I think that we need to stop doing, and we say it and it comes out so loosely, and I don't think it's really any gain to that. And that's the separation: Gen Z versus Gen X versus
Why
millennial.
does the
That
society
shit is
push
stupid,
that, bro? They push
bro.
so much
Like,
separation
that's what I'm
on
saying. Is that
everybody.
part right there? That's what starts it, and that's stupid as fuck because that's exactly why you look at a person and you're the only supposed to have this much knowledge because you're blessed. This is where you were born in, and it's not the case, man. I think it's a small sample size that we get to see, and we just go ahead and blast it. That it's that older generation individuals or listeners that don't accept it. It's just we're seeing
Yeah.
more younger ones that post about it because the
Mhm.
older generation doesn't really post a lot. You got to understand this, right? The older generation, right? And I'm gonna bring sports in there real quick. Michael Jordan doesn't say I'm great. Everybody else says he's great. Newer generation, Lebron, I'm great.
Dun,
You know what I'm saying?
dun,
That's what I'm saying. That's the
nah,
difference. The newer generation, everybody got to have a voice to say something. So
yeah,
that's the reason why
they
so many
want to
people
be seen so bad and recognized so bad that
right.
they'll put a label on themselves and try to shove it down your throat,
But
thinking that that's
Timberland is an
gonna,
older head.
yeah, huh?
Well, I said, but Timberland, older head, right? He
Yeah,
would be classified as what we would say older head, right? Or
yeah,
older
Hmm.
list. Let's just say that. Will I am, right? Will be classified as older listener, right? But these are the two that's be in the face of AI, Suno
yeah,
and Udio.
yeah,
So how can we clearly defect and say that older heads don't really accept AI as much as younger
yeah.
audience?
Visionaries do though. Older visionaries. When you're a older person who
There
has a
you go.
vision and can see,
And
you're
what's a
more willing
visionary?
to step out and accept and try.
Now take that and let's advance that term, right? What's a visionary in today's term? A creator.
A creator.
And
Yeah,
what's they gonna look at? So they're gonna look at all ways, all different ways to create, all
yeah,
different ways to be a visionary.
yeah,
So that's you hit it. It depends on the type of individual that the person is. So if we're taking a small sample size of a whole bunch of old heads that are visionaries, we're gonna hit that 1,000%.
yeah,
But if we're
yeah,
taking a sample size of old heads that aren't visionaries, that were just robots and did the punch the clock, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't believe in trying to achieve a talent that I have. I'm gonna embark on a skill that I was taught. So I think that's where it goes. But once again, I'm not calling anybody. That's just my personal opinion. I think it's dumb because when we say that, we automatic. Soon as you say old head, there's a certain, and then you say young, there's a certain mantra and a bubble that we expect them to be within confined in.
yeah.
You don't say young dude and then think that he's going to be able to have a conversation like we're having right now until it happens, and then we accentuate that like, man, I wish more young dudes thought like you, or right, or but it's out
That's why
there.
I like the panel because they was
Right,
all young.
right. And I
All
and
I
that's
remember.
most of
it.
them was under, they under 25, 20. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like they young. They all,
Right.
30s and under. So, we need that. You know what I'm
And
saying? We need that. We
and
need
once
that.
again, we have to go back to saying like we all need like mentors.
Yeah.
So what we're not doing, and then we look at them and displace them because of what they found to do and make it for themselves. I always go back to that. We can't fault them for that. Like we were so against this mumble, this auto tuning and everything, but we didn't show them. We didn't sit down and tutelage them on how to really create and become, like, you know what I'm saying, and sit in these sessions and do all of that. We kind of like, we got ours, and I say we as in the older generation heads that made it. It's like we got ours, so you guys get yours. And now those older heads want to come back in and tap in and get these young dudes on songs, or change their style and don't have the big machine behind them and sound like these younger heads. But it's just like, bro, like, so I can understand why there's a frustration and a deviant split between the two, at least in those labels, between those two or categories that we're labeling individuals. So but I'm not going to keep it going too long, you guys. I know I got things I got to get ready to
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
But I definitely want to go ahead and tap into more of this for the next session next week at 9 p.m. live again, and get more inputs, and we'll continue the discussion because there's a lot more to discuss what we got coming on. So I just want to drop this as a closing thought for you guys. AI isn't killing the beat. It isn't doing anything of that nature. It's just testing if the heartbeat is still there. The ones who survive will be the ones who can make the machine sound human. And that's unfortunate. That's what we're in until it's changed, until it makes me see something different. That's where the goal is right now. It's trying to make it sound human as possible. And that's where I think a lot of the focus is at. So creators keep creating, producers keep producing, artists keep writing. It can't fulfill enough of the void to continuously having this as a productive means of industry. So if everybody, all the people that are doing it organically stopped and left it all to the people that's doing it AI, we're gonna sink quick. We're gonna sink quick. But we already know what happens, and it can survive on
Yep.
organic production. So
Yep.
we have to find a median that balances for everybody, because I don't think it's fair to kick out the techies, the young techies that have this in their minds, because I can honestly say that it was due to a lot of that was the way I was able to get my ideas across to my team to accept me as a up and coming producer, engineer, and so forth. Without that, it was hard for me to do. I had to do it and then show them. It wasn't something that was taught to me to come in and sit down and let me see what you're doing. It was, I had to create it, whether good, bad, or indifferent, and then hopefully they can hear where my creativity is going and then assist me from there. So that's my experience, you guys. I don't know if you guys want to end anything here. I'll leave the floor open for you. And then before we go, I do got something I want to go ahead and introduce to you guys.
Only thing I gotta say is go listen to some live music when you get a chance. That's all. Go listen to some live music. I hit a this little spot out here called the Speakeasy, and they had a live blues band. And what's crazy is we was the youngest motherfuckers in there. Everybody else was some OGs, and that vibe was so dope, bro. So dope. And that lady on the saxophone, damn it, man, she, ooh-wee. Hey, she was no joke, bro.
Ooh-wee.
Like the whole, like they good. They were good.
That's
Bass
good.
with everybody. Yeah, it was a good vibe, man. It was a good vibe.
Man, I haven't
Yeah,
seen a
some
live
live music.
show in a minute. So thank you, man. That's something I'm gonna have to tap into, because I haven't
Yeah,
actually.
I got some video footage we can show another time though.
Okay.
But yeah,
Sounds
yeah.
good.
Yeah, the only thing I could say besides the listening of live music is also expanding and listening to different types of music. Because there's like they say, the music is the universal language. It's not just one genre. I mean, I've heard some Peruvian music that is awesome. It's something about it. I don't even know.
Look at me right now. I aim low.
But just keep evolving with the music. There's plenty of it out there. Just look for the real, and just expand. That's all.
Right. Definitely. Just, and also be open minded. That's another thing. Be
Yeah,
open minded. Don't be so quick to just stick with what you know. Definitely open-minded, like D said. If you go somewhere and it's opportunity to see a live show, man, partake in it. You know what I mean? Go see a comedy show. Something, just go something outside of what you normally do. And even if it's something, like I said, I haven't seen one in a minute, so now I'm gonna tap back into it, because I'm sure the scenery has changed in some forms of fashion. So I would like to be, saying a little bit more in tuned into what that scenery looks like now. So thank you for that. That was definitely promising information, because I'm gonna be looking to go check out something myself, man.
Yeah,
And not just watch a tiny desk.
yeah,
More on the
exactly.
center,
Like
so
they dope though, but I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
saying it was
I
like
mean, but if you could experience that live, or like, what's the other one? The front porch, I think, is another one they
front
do.
porch. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So if
yeah.
it's something like that, if you can go and experience these, because MCA killed the front porch, man.
I know he did. That shit was dope.
Yeah,
Yeah, that shit was
but
dope.
I'm just saying. But thanks again, everybody's tapping in. This is Things of That Nature. I'm Doc Madness, Thing Dose, Sweatshop Recordings, Demolition Men Productions.
Y'all know what
Tony
it
Effect,
is, man.
the
Thing
one and only.
Uno, Left Coast King. Y'all know what it is.
That's what it do. I got a special treat for you guys. This one is by TonyAfx. He's just dropped something new for you guys. If you want to go ahead and just tell them about two-step, what you got right now, TonyAfx, and I'm gonna go ahead and cue that little promo so that we can drop that for you. If you want to go ahead and just kind of like cue it up.
Yeah, it's the new single just dropped. Tony Effects featuring Yoki Gold 2-step. Little some difference. Got a nice little flavor to it. Hope you like it.
That part. So here we go, you guys. We're gonna go ahead and drop this in for you guys, and hopefully you like it. Tap in and keep it moving, you guys. We love you guys. You owe it to yourselves. Be nice, stay positive, and do something great for yourself. And we have TonyAfx two-step featuring Yoki Gold, and away we go.
Look at me right now. I aim low, drain no baby pipe that. Sweet cherry pie kush, make a nice cloud. Leave a couple souvenirs on your nightgown. Nice little cozy Airbnb. You can bring your whole posse, ain't no scaring me. 30 below zero, I don't wear a mink. Unicorn blood in my cup, that's what pharaohs drink. Rough late nights watching Larry King. Getting brain dead head, she can barely think. But that bubble gum yum is canary pink soft served ice cream pip. That's my Dairy Queen. Yeah, hot breath, brush your teeth. I'm the executive execution. The baby execute the cheek. So fly like Cupid. I refuse to beat that vegetarian puss. I refuse to beat. Amen. Two-step and do the throwback. Two-step and do the Reebok. Two-step and do the Womack. Two-step and do the Reebok.
Things of that nature, things of that nature.